This article is about the theological concept in Islam. For the novel by Geraldine Brooks, see People of the Book. People of the Book are adherents of Abrahamic religions that predate Islam. In Islam, the Quran is taken to represent the completion of these scriptures, and to synthesize them as God's true, final, and eternal message to humanity. Because the people of the book recognize the God of Abraham, YHWH, as the one and only God, as do Muslims, and they practice revealed faiths based on divine ordinances, tolerance and autonomy is accorded to them in societies governed by Sharia. In Judaism, the term "people of the book" was used to refer specifically to the Jewish people and the Torah, and to the Jewish people and the wider canon of written Jewish law. Adherents of other Abrahamic religions, which arose later than Judaism, were not added. As such, the designation is accepted by Jews as a reference to an identity rooted fundamentally in the Torah. In Christianity, the Catholic Church rejects the similar expression, "religion of the book," as a description of the Christian faith, preferring the term, "religion of the Word of God," since the faith of Christ, according to Catholic teaching, is not found solely in the Christian scriptures, but also in the sacred tradition and magisterium of the Church. Nevertheless, other denominations, such as the Baptists, Methodists, Seventh-day Adventist Church, as well as Puritans and Shakers, have embraced the term "people of the book" definition. The term "people of the book" in the Quran refers to followers of monotheistic Abrahamic religions that are older than Islam. This includes all Christians, all children of Israel, and Sabians. It shares similar eschatological views with Christianity and Islam, and recognizes life after death, Satan, heaven, and hell. Zoroastrians are briefly mentioned as the Magians in the Quran. Surely the ones who have believed, and the ones who have Judaized, and the Sabian and Nasara, and the Magus and the ones who have associated. Surely Allah will distinguish between them on the day of the resurrection. Surely Allah is an ever-present witness over everything. This definition is usually limited to those books that predate the Quran. They are seen as divine guidance from God to man that has been incomplete or corrupted. This definition is not extended to followers of similar texts claiming divine guidance after the revelation of the Quran, as the Quran is seen as the final revelation and therefore any following are necessarily false. Islamic scholars differ on whether Hindus are people of the book. The Islamic conquest of India necessitated that the definition be revised, as most India's inhabitants were followers of the Indian religions. Many of the Muslim clergy of India considered Hindus as people of the book, and from Muhammad bin Qasim to Aurangzeb, Muslim rulers were willing to consider Hindus as people of the book. Many Muslims did not treat Hindus as pagans or idol worshippers, although Hinduism does not include Adam, Eve, nor the various prophets of Abrahamic religions. However, with the 1947 partition of India, the now small minority of Hindus in Pakistan and to a lesser extent Bangladesh have been often persecuted as kafir. Buddhism does not explicitly recognize a monotheistic God or the concept of prophethood. Muslims, however, had at one point accorded him the status of people of the book, and al-Biruni wrote of Buddha as the prophet, Bergsan. However, there is no formal God in Buddhism, although Buddhism does not specifically oppose monotheism, but it is explicitly stated in Buddhist sutras that the worship of an Ishvara is unnecessary to the attainment of nirvana, as the Buddha believed worshippers are still trapped in an endless cycle of rebirth. Buddhists do not worship Brahma or Deva. In Buddhism, the historical Buddha, the celestial and predecessor Buddhas, the Buddhas to be and the universal laws fulfill the devotional needs of believers, while an emphasis is placed on the lack of creation and judgment abilities of these salvation-teaching deities. Some Buddhist texts symbolize the universe as an eternal Buddha, which represents omnipresent enlightenment. There are few Buddhists in Muslim countries, except for a fraction of the Chinese minorities in Malaysia and Indonesia. But xenophobic incidents are generally blamed on the economic success of the Chinese rather than their religion. In the Quran, there are many statements in the Quran that mention former communities who have been given revelation from God. Some examples are below. If only the people of the book had faith, it were best for them. Among them are some who have faith, but most of them are perverted transgressors. Not all of them are alike. Of the people of the book are a portion that stand. They rehearse the signs of God all night long, and they prostrate themselves in adoration. And there are, certainly, among the people of the book those who believe in God, in the revelation to you, and in the revelation to them, bowing in humility to God. They will not sell the signs of God for a miserable gain. For them is a reward with their Lord, and God is swift in account. The three religions that are mentioned in the Quran Karim is Christians, Jews and Sabian Mandians. All were mentioned in chapters Quran 5-69, and Quran 22:17. There are other religions mentioned, but these three are mentioned most often. Dhimmi. Historically, a dhimmi was a person who is protected under Islamic law by a pact contracted between non-Muslims and authorities from their Muslim government. This status was first made available to non-Muslims who were people of the book, but was later extended to include Sikhs, Zoroastrians, Mandaeans, Hindus and Buddhists. People of the book living in non-Islamic nations were not considered dhimmish. Non-Muslim people of the book living in an Islamic nation under Sharia law were given a number of rights, such as the right to freely practice their faith in private and to receive state protection. In turn, they had a legal responsibility, the payment of a special tax called jizya in place of zakat. The social structure of the Ottoman Empire would serve as an example of how non-Muslims were treated. Because of the Hindu traditions of Vedanta and Upanishads, and the prominent Hindu theological perspective that there is a single reality from which the world arises, Hindus eventually have been included as dhimmish. The Yazidi, Druze and Azali faiths are small post-Islamic monotheistic faiths whose adherents mainly reside in Muslim-majority countries. Because they number very few and have seldom disturbed, countered or threatened Muslim authority, they are usually regarded as dhimmish. The definition of dhimmi always excludes followers of the Baha'i faith. This is because the Baha'i faith, which grew out of Shia Islam, is a post-Islamic religion which does not accept the finality of Muhammad's revelation. Instead, Baha'is believe in the concept of progressive revelation. The Ahmadis of Pakistan are also not regarded as dhimmish by the vast majority of Muslims. This is largely due to the fact that their prophet, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, came over 1,300 years after Muhammad, who is viewed as the last of the prophets by Sunni, Shia, and Abadi variants of Islam. They differ from other post-Islamic faiths in Muslim lands because Ahmadis first began as an Islamic reform movement, threatening the established orthodoxy present in South Asian Islam, and, furthermore, because it was embraced by highly socially upwardly mobile westernizing Muslim intellectuals of the day. These factors, compounded with the presence of the colonial British authorities in India, who had overthrown the Muslim Mughal Empire, led Muslims to view the presence of Ahmadis as a fifth column serving the British colonizers, and as a threat to, true, Islam. Pakistan, to this day, requires its citizens to swear an oath of allegiance to Islam, and declare Mirza Ghulam Ahmad to be an apostate, should they elect to register as a Muslim for governmental services. Christian view. In the early Christian experience, the New Testament was added to the whole Old Testament, which after Jerome's translation tended more and more to be bound up as a single volume, and was accepted as a unified locus of authority. The book, as some contemporary authors refer to it, many Christian missionaries in Africa, Asia and in the New World, developed writing systems for indigenous people and then provided them with a written translation of the Bible. As a result of this work, people of the book became the usual vernacular locution to refer to Christians among many African, Asian, and Native American people of both hemispheres. The work of organizations such as the Wycliffe Bible Translators and the United Bible Societies has resulted in Bibles being available in 2,100 languages. This fact has further promoted an identification with the phrase among Christians themselves. Christian converts among evangelized cultures, in particular, have the strongest identification with the term people of the book. This arises because the first written text produced in their native language, as with the English-speaking peoples, has often been the Bible. Many denominations, such as Baptists and the Methodist Church, which are notable for their mission work, have therefore embraced the term people of the book. Seventh-day Adventists is stated on its official world website. The Seventh-day Adventist Church also embraces the term people of the book, as also noted in its official flagship publication Adventist World. It is claimed that prominent Islamic leaders have endorsed Seventh-day Adventists as the Quran's true people of the book.